Joining us on the news to review some of the gains achieved by security officials and what more could be done to scale up security in the country is Saliu Dantata Mahmood, a security expert. Thanks very warmly for coming on to Newsnight. I mean, we've seen operations in the Northeast, the Operation Harding Kai operatives are diminishing in, the powers, powers of ISWAP and the Boko Haram insurgents, would you say?
Well, before that, don't forget the Department of State Services recorded success in Wawa, Niger State, by arresting the ringleader of the Mahmuda terrorists, 33-year-old Abba from Daura in Katsina State, followed by the arrest of the Ansaru leaders, about 2 of them, followed before that of the Northeast. It goes back to what we've been saying, that the moment there is motivation from the citizens, as well as intelligence gathering and sharing, then coordinated operations between the armed forces, police, DSS, and other agencies, including even voluntary security outfits, this is what you see. Don't also forget the Chadian police arrested one of the children of the slain Boko Haram leader, that is Muslim Yusuf in Jamina, when they had some intelligence information, what have you. So I think the motivation and the synergy amongst the security agencies is gathering momentum. Beyond that, in Katsina, I think today some kidnapped families from some villages were also rescued without paying ransom. That is to tell you the Operation Fansanyama in northwestern part of Nigeria, Operation Adenkai, as well as Zaman Lapia Dole in northeastern part of Nigeria, and also of others in north central, is gathering momentum. Even the southeast too, where you used to have activities of the unknown gunmen, has reduced drastically. But beyond that, we don't need coordinated operations every time. They should also make alternative of establishing permanent security apparatus in certain crises and insecurity-prone areas.
But they must clean them out first before you do that.
Well, while the cleansing out is going on, you can also be doing that because there is huge budgetary allocation for security. Aftermath of a robbery in Kwara State, when they establish a mobile police squadron, you can see you no longer heard of armed robbery there, maybe operating in Erele or of any other parts. So these areas in Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kwara, it takes the federal government nothing to establish police mobile squadron, counter-terrorism squadron, or military cantonments of the land army, air force base of the Nigerian Air Force. Then if it is the waterways, riverine areas, that of the Nigerian Navy. Just the way they established the Baga Naval Base when Boko Haram was at the Beef and also of other things. So beyond reinforcement, joint task force, and also of other naming of their task force operation, Zaman Lapia Dole Fansanyama, when these permanent security architectures are there, for example, in Mantau, under Malum Fashi local government, where they went and killed worshippers in early morning prayers, were there to be Mopo squadron or maybe a close-by sophisticated apparatus of the security.
There would have been some crossfire.
That is it. So most of the times before you reinforce and get there, the wreck has been done.
All right, thank you very much for that background. Let's look at interagency cooperation. Yes, it's yielded great results for us, like, enunciated. Absolutely. The Chief of Defense Staff of Nigeria, General Chris Musa, will be hosting the Chiefs of Defense Staff of Africa. Let's look at inter-African security, particularly from the Maghreb region to West Africa, where you have the activities of terrorists, different layers of them. ISWAP seems to be most prominent amongst these groups. Is this the right time for an African high command?
This is the right time. Don't forget, before this hosting of the African Chiefs of Defense Staffs by the Chief of Defense Staff, General C.G. Musa, there has been that cooperation at the level of multinational joint task force, where even with the disagreement between the civilian administration of President Bola Tinubu and the military regimes in Niger, we had a strong delegation initially led by the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu himself, a retired AIG, then later by the Chief of Defense Staff to Niamey, where they said nothing is going to stop their cooperation of flushing out the non-state actors from their border areas, because most of the times the problems are when they commit their nefarious activities in Nigerian shores, where they find as last resort is these border areas of Nigeria, Gamborungala, Njamina, that is Chad, or Jibia area, or Maradi area, along Sokoto axis and also for us. Then you talk about Chikanda, Benin Republic border areas, or Chaki, Ouagadougou border areas. So even with the change in regimes in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger, that is not going to stop anything, because they've been doing. Of recent, the multinational joint task force along the Lake Chad region gathered momentum also by carrying out onslaught against the ISWAP terrorists.
But the African Union does not seem to have the kind of enthusiasm that you are, exuding right now to really put a standing force on ground. We saw it in West Africa during the military regimes of President Babangida and Abacha, where ECOMOG single-handedly liberated Liberia and Sierra Leone, stopping the infrastructural wars in those two West African countries.
Well, I feel AU at this time has no choice than to bring out the finances, bring out the capability. If at ECOWAS level we were able to do that by liberating Liberia and to our extension Sierra Leone, then African Union, that is a bigger African body uniting the entire African countries, should be able to live up to that expectation.
They've not been able to do that in DR Congo.
Well, that of Congo, you see a lot of politics, international politics is involved in that.
Because of the minerals.
Mineral resources.
Isn't that what is really causing terrorism, the thrive of terrorism in Nigeria?
Not entirely, because when you look at the Mahmuda terrorist interest in north central states of Kwara, Niger, it is not driven entirely by
mineral resources.
No, it is driven by deception, because the leader had come initially in villages like Nanu, Nuku, Tabiru in Kayama and Baruten local government close to Wawa in Niger, preaching Islamic gospel. And in Islamic dominated northern states, when you come, just the way Lakurawa initially did in some parts of Kebbi and Sokoto state, before they changed the system and also other things. So in Zamfara, for instance, we can say some of the non-state actors like the Bello Truji boys and also others, they killed Sabubu, were earlier contracted to come and guard the illegal mining site. When they got to know the proceeds that accompanies it, they now changed by using the same arms they bought for them against the people that contracted them. Then politics is also involved in that Zamfara illegal gold mine. Then don't forget the communal dispute between the Fulani.
What kind of politics is involved?
The politics is that some of the corrupt and unpatriotic politicians that knows what is in the illegal mining also are aiding and abetting some of these non-state actors
to kill their own people,
that
to wipe out
the reasons
communities.
why when you are finishing from Maru, it is going to Talata Mahara. When you are finishing from Talata Mahara, it's going to Tsahe. When you are finishing from Tsahe, it is going to Sabo, Binni Magaji, and also other areas. Then when you go to Sokoto, for instance, in Sabo, Binni, in Isa, in other areas, it is also communal, because there is a disagreement between the Hausa and the Fulanis there, where even on TikTok you see some of the Fulani headsmen even making some kind of provocative sentences and also of other things. So the difference, then when you come to that of Boko Haram that later got supported by ISWAP and others, it was kind of religious ideology brought by Mohammed Yusuf. It was the extrajudicial killing by the police that made Shekau to take over before his killing. Then again, look at it was in the shores of Chad that the son, Muslim, Itato, another son, was already in the insurgency. before this Muslim that is just 18 years old. So when you look at the activities of the non-state actors in North Central, Northwest, Northeast, they differ, same way they differ from that of the unknown government in some southeastern part of Nigeria.
Then let us look at internal security here. The police, they too are making gains, whichever way you like it, deporting a wanted Chinese gang leader, then rescuing kidnappers now and again, as we hear the latest being in Kebbi and the rest. But are they really atop their game in internal security?
You see, when you talk about internal security, just the way you affirmed, police are supposed to be in charge, but lacking equipments, lacking skills, then proper welfare are part of the problems militating against them, taking role as custodians of internal security, supported by others like security and civil defense, DSS, and others. If you do not properly fund the police, they cannot be able. Look at from Buhari administration till this President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, the monies expanded for the Army, Air Force, then Navy inclusive. Half of such money did not go to police that have the larger squad in internal security architecture. They have the police mobile force, special tactical squad, special forces. They have the intelligence response team, special tactical squad, marine police. They have the air wing. They have the border police. They have all that they are supposed to have. But the problems are, where are the training schools for even this IRT, STS, special forces, and what have you? They still manage some places that are not properly equipped. And for you to train a police that will take charge of internal security, you need schools where they will be given that sophistication like the armed forces. You can never compare police academy with NDA Kaduna. You can't compare police training schools as well as Mopo training schools with Depot, Zaria, and that of the Air Force, as well as the Nigerian Navy.
Very interesting here. Let's look at a general on this show last night said, what is lacking in, propelling or to better propel security challenges in the countries to have a joint operation center? How much do you think that is really going to help to accelerate the elimination of, the facade of insecurity that envelopes the entire country?
You see, it is because it has escalated. The Army, Navy, Air Force, when you go to NDA, particularly for the regular combatant courses, they train together from Tamal 1 till Tamal 5. Then when they get to Tamal 4, it is when the Navy goes to One in Rivers. Then the Air Force stays at Air Force Training Ground Kaduna or go to Air Weapons School Kanji. Then the Land Army remains there till passing out parade before they all gather together. That differentiates them from the police. So even if you are having a common joint operation center, these are people that have different trainings. The primary responsibility of members of the armed forces is to defend the territorial integrity of the country. But when you come to their secondary functions, the Army is to defend the country through land, the Air Force through the air, Navy through the maritime water and the sea, and also others. What about the police? Police is law enforcement in civilized way. So the Army, for instance, are trained to kill. So the issues are sometimes their working together affects the psyche of the civil security, because sometimes when you put them together, even though they've been doing it, you see that a police officer who is a conventional officer is already having the same type of behavior. I'll give you an example of Nigerian security and civil defense now. Most of their trainings are done in Army bases. You see their behavior, even road safety, that is traffic agency, some of them are trained by the Army. You even see that,
military
in them.
ingestion.
So I think the best bet is for the police, since they have the larger squad, police mobile force special, they can be on their own and do things on their own periodically where necessary, where it goes beyond their strength and their might. Then the armed forces can come, because all this that the Army, Air Force are doing, air coordination, what have you, ordinarily police have air wing. They have pilots too, but they don't have the sophisticated alpha jets and what have you. But in countries,
how many helicopters?
In countries,
the one that they probably.
But in countries that have advanced, in countries that are advanced, their police have sophisticated air wing.
The local police, yes.
That is it. So
The
why
local
can't
government
we
police.
start funding our police in order to meet up global challenges? Because the same police you take for peacekeeping operations and they get medal. And at home here, you see people castigating them. They are only good for bribe collection and what have you. Like yesterday, I was telling somebody, do you know there is a counter-terrorism unit with red beret in the police that exists? He said, I don't know. Do you know there is a special protection unit with blue beret that are supposed to be protecting the VIP? He said, I don't know. They only know mobile police, conventional. Some of them do not even know IRT, STS, special forces. The same way Army, Navy, Air Force have special forces, police has it, but the funding is the problem. A police that even are lacking in barracks. Right now, I want to say it without any fear. In Abuja here, they said in disguise that they are they've given to developer, rebuilding, redesigning. A lot of them that works in Falomo, Ikoyi, in Abuja have no barracks. How do you want to get the motivation from that officer and man to go and fight or confront non-state actor that some foreign collaborators are training, some dismissed officers are also training? And that is why periodically you see some of these officers also involved in things that are inimical to security of the country. Above all, that it is also time for total restructuring of the architecture for efficiency. Godfatherism is killing. Some of the best trained police officers are either ADCs to governors, are either orderlies to wives of this and that, which ought not to be. Former IG Mike Okiro once said it, that half of the policemen that are supposed to be manning areas across Nigeria, being outpost division,
they
are doing VIP, even though the IG said he has withdrawn some mobile police, but how many?
What a shame. No better place for you to drop the anchor on this discussion. Salute Dantata Mahmood is a security analyst. Thanks for coming on News 9.